Hey everybody, welcome to Let's Do This with Evan. Today we're going to be repairing and replacing the steps on my deck. I've been in this house for about 12 years. These stairs have been pretty neglected by me and the previous owner. So whoever made deck restore times 4 times 8 times 2, I don't like you. And whoever built these steps, I don't like you either, because see the encasings on the sides? Every deck I've looked at don't have those. All those do is trap the water in there, so everything gets all rotted on the ends and it just works its way in. And then the stringers, the parts that go up that the steps attached to, those get bad too then. Mine were actually in pretty good shape. That's where I could just go ahead and replace the stairs themselves. So you can see how rotted this is. I got stuff growing in there. You want to get rid of all that. Normally you shouldn't have things growing out of your stairs. So, but I have dogs, I have kids, they track dirt and mud up and down, and then that dirt gets trapped in the side because there's gaps and it can't wash out because the whatever you want to call them, the end caps on the sides there. This is a job you can definitely do on your own. To go buy the wood, it cost me about $106, and this is leftover. It's hardware screws I had from other projects, but the box of screws will cost you $20. So here we're pulling out, and as I'm pulling out the screws, the pressure of that bar is pushing moisture out of my stringers. So I know I have to do some scraping on those. You want to get as much of that rotted wood out of there as you can. On some other stairs, I even use some Bondo to put in there to harden it up to give me a nice surface to work with. So go ahead and pull all these old screws out of there. Those were rusted. I don't know what ones they had used. They look like they're outside screws, but I've never seen anything rust quite like that. But I don't think they're meant to stay wet all the time either. So I went ahead and I got some better screws. One's made for decking, so hopefully that issue doesn't happen again. To actually fix this deck, I would have to take off the side caps and then reattach the railings. And the way they attached it to the side of the deck, I just can't do that right now. So it's been this long that the stairs have lasted. So I think if I replace the decking, I can get another 10, 15 years out of them. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Again, go ahead. This is an easy project you can do on your own, pulling those stairs out. I also use a Sawzall to cut the screws off underneath the decking. If you can't get in there with the pry bar, then you can just hit it with the Sawzall and just reattach onto there. Once I get the steps up, you'll see I have a wood hardener, varithane wood hardener that I put on there. Let it set up for 10-15 minutes, and then it actually hardens in 2 hours, it says. But you can cover it back up before it hardens all the way. It should still do its thing. And just the ends are all rotted. What I'm going to end up doing, though, is cutting the last 4 inches off each board and repurposing these into a little boardwalk or something, because the middle of the board seemed fine. It just where it's trapped on the edges and held in by water. So if you build decks, don't build a deck like this. I'm telling you right now. And if you need to paint your deck, don't use rust restore, the deck restore times 8 or times 4. That stuff is horrible. It comes up in chunks. It doesn't last long. I've never used it after seeing, and I know that's what it was on this deck, and it's just been horrible. I've had to replace the actual decking on my deck too. That was last year, and then restained everything this year. So gave it a year to dry out, and anyway, that's another story. So try to scrape out as much of that rotted wood, wet wood, soggy stuff as you can. You want to apply this stuff to a dry rotted surface, and then I'm just making sure that these fit. I buy my wood from Home Depot. Oh, bacon candy. Gotta have bacon candy. I have other videos on how to make that, but make sure to stay hydrated and have some good snacks. So here's the wood hardener I use. I've used it on other projects before. My wood tables and things that I have knots in or some soft parts, I use that wood hardener. Works really well. So anyway, at Home Depot, you can buy the wood and they actually cut it there for you. So I measured out 37 3/4, and I told them I needed 18 boards at 37 3/4, and they cut them up for me, and I'm out the door. So saved me all that time having to come home, measure, cut, do all that stuff. So, I'm trying to make this as easy on myself as possible. giving you all the tips and tricks that I learned along the way. So hopefully save you some time and money too. If you were to pay somebody to do this to your deck, I don't even know what it would cost, but like I said, it cost me 106 for the wood, and box screws is 20 bucks. I mean, watch all my videos, all the DIY stuff, because I'm going to end up saving you thousands and thousands of dollars. Or if you have a similar project, at least give you some ideas on what you can do. This stuff is really easy. You just need the time. It's not even the money, I hope, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this. So go ahead and put that on there. It soaks right in right away. That's how you know if it's spongy and it just sucks that stuff in. Put in a little bit more till you can see it get a little wet, because you need it to penetrate in there real good. What I'm trying to do is get it to kind of pause the rotting. I know it's not going to stop it. This isn't a problem that this is going to fix because of the way the deck was built. So I'm just trying to limp it along, get a few more years. And sometimes DIY is all about that. You're not going to fix your problem. I'm not here to tell you build a new deck. I'm saying replace the decking, the steps at least, so they're safe. I don't want my kids walking down the deck and the rotted edges to go out and the board flips down. And so I'm just doing something to get it the rest of the way, get quite a few more years out of it. And at some point I might replace the whole stairs or rip the sides off. But for now, this is what I decided to do. I replaced 3 of the upper stairs last summer because those ones were really bad. And I used the same process and waited till this summer to analyze how that went, and it held up really well. So I'm pretty safe in saying that this will go just as well. The middle stringer, since it doesn't have anything holding the moisture in, we're actually pretty good. The only place that it kind of rotted is towards the house end in there. That would trap moisture, and that had a little bit of rot in it. But structurally, still a lot of meat on these bones per se. The stringers had a lot of good wood in them, so I don't think safety's a concern at all. And I just use the same wood you use for the decking, the 1x6 primed boards. They're really wet when I got them, so I let them dry out for a few days so they weren't so soggy. But still, when you drill screws in them, you see a little bit of moisture, but that lets you know you got good wood, I guess. So pre-drill your holes so they don't split your wood. You want to do it as close to the edges as you can so you don't get any cupping, but make sure to always pre-drill. Save yourself a lot of problems down the road. And you want 6 screws per 2 per stringer. You don't want to go cheap on the screws and have just as many problems down the road. You want it good and secure. This whole project took me probably between 2 nights, I don't know, 4 hours because of all the scraping. And then I did have to break out the Bondo, get that going. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Follow along. Check out some of my other videos. Have a good one.